There comes a moment in every man's life when silence becomes louder than words. You stop calling, you stop texting, and suddenly, the woman who once knew your every thought is left in the quiet. And here's the truth: silence shakes people. It forces reflection. It exposes feelings that words often bury. When you stop contacting her, you are no longer giving her the validation, the reassurance, or the attention that she may have gotten used to. And this absence, becomes a mirror. It shows her who you truly are in her life. Some women will realize they were taking you for granted. Others will feel your absence like a void, questioning if they lost a good man. And some, they'll move on without hesitation, proving to you that their connection was never as deep as you thought. But listen to me. This moment is not about punishment. It is about discovery for you and for her. Because a man who learns the power of silence also learns the power of self-respect. Today, I'll show you what a woman will truly do when you stop contacting her, and why, for you as a man, this silence might be the most powerful voice you'll ever have. The very first thing a woman will do when you stop contacting her is test you. It might not come as a big dramatic move. It could be something as simple as a, "Hey, how are you?" text after days of silence, or a late night call just to see if you'll pick up. She may even drop a casual emoji on your social media. Nothing deep, nothing heavy, just enough to spark a reaction. Why? Because women are intuitive. They feel energy shifts faster than you think. When a man who used to give her attention suddenly pulls back, her natural instinct is to question it. And in that questioning, she creates tests. She's not doing this to be cruel. She's doing it to measure something very important: your strength and your discipline. Understand this: when a woman tests your silence, what she's really asking is, do I truly have this man's full control? Or is he strong enough to stand on his own without me? If you respond too quickly, if you break your silence the moment she rattles the cage, she will know that your silence was never strength. It was just a game. And once she knows it was a game, the respect she could have had for you starts to slip away. But if you hold your ground, if you remain calm, composed, and unbothered, she begins to feel something different. She feels uncertainty, and that uncertainty is powerful. It forces her to stop taking you for granted. It makes her wonder, has he moved on? Did I lose him? Was I not enough? Now listen, this doesn't mean you become cold, heartless, or arrogant. Silence is not about ignoring her out of spite. It's about standing firm in your self-worth. It's about teaching yourself and her that you don't crumble under emotional pressure. When a woman tests your silence, she is really testing your identity as a man. And if you pass that test with patience, calmness, and strength, she will begin to look at you differently. Not just as a man she can reach any time, but as a man she must earn. That shift is the beginning of true respect. When you stop contacting a woman, something powerful happens inside her mind. She begins to reflect on your value. At first, she may not even notice your absence. She's busy with her phone, her friends, her routine. But as the hours turn into days, and the days into weeks, a quiet realization begins to creep in. He used to be here, and now he's not. This is where the power of space comes in. You see, constant presence often blinds people. When you're always available, always texting, always calling, she doesn't get the chance to truly evaluate what you mean to her. Your presence becomes expected, not appreciated. But the moment you step back, the moment your voice, your energy, your consistency goes missing, she starts to notice the little things. She remembers how you made her laugh when her day was heavy. She recalls the times you checked on her when no one else did. She replays conversations where you gave her wisdom, encouragement, or comfort. Your silence forces her to see what life feels like without you. And here's the truth: sometimes it is only in your absence that your true presence is revealed. Now, let's be clear, not every woman will value you. Some will shrug it off and replace you instantly. But the woman who felt something real, even if she never admitted it before, will begin to reflect deeply. She will compare what you gave her to what other men bring. And that comparison almost always highlights your worth, because most men are not consistent, intentional, or genuine. This reflection can stir guilt too. She might think, did I take him for granted? Did I push too hard? Did I fail to see his effort when it mattered? And those questions are powerful because they create self-awareness. But here's the key. Brother, this reflection only happens if you stay disciplined in your silence. If you run back too soon, she won't have the space to feel your absence. She won't have the chance to reflect on your true value. Remember, this value is rarely seen in abundance. It's seen in scarcity. And when you give a woman the chance to miss you, you also give her the chance to respect you. That reflection is where love, appreciation, and sometimes even regret are born. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the strongest emotional reactions she may experience is anxiety. At first, she might try to brush it off. Oh, maybe he's just busy. Or he'll text me later. But as the hours pass, as the notifications stay silent, her mind begins to wander. And that's where the anxiety creeps in. You see, women are emotional beings, and connection is deeply tied to how they measure security. When you used to check in, call or text, it gave her a sense of reassurance. Even if she didn't admit it, your presence was her confirmation. She's still here. He still cares. But when that presence disappears, the questions start. Did I do something wrong? Is he upset with me? Has he found someone else? That spiral of thoughts can become heavy, especially if she genuinely cared about you. Her anxiety is not just about missing a text. It's about missing the emotional anchor you provided. And here's the key that anxiety reveals one truth. Your presence mattered. Now, not every woman will react this way. Some will move on easily because they were never emotionally invested. But the one who truly felt your presence will feel your silence like a weight on her chest. She'll check her phone more often. She'll scroll through old conversations. She might even talk to her friends, asking, why hasn't he reached out? This anxiety is powerful because it forces her to evaluate what she really wants. If she values you, the anxiety will push her to take action, to reach out, to reconnect, to close the gap your silence created. But listen carefully. If you rush to break that silence just to ease her discomfort, you rob her of this experience. You rob her of the lesson, because growth happens in discomfort. And sometimes a woman needs that anxious space to truly understand how deeply she feels about you. So when she grows anxious, don't see it as cruelty. See it as clarity. It's not your job to fix her feelings. It's your job to stand strong in your self-respect and let her reveal whether her emotions are real or just convenience. Anxiety exposes the truth, and in relationships, truth is always better than illusion. Not every silence draws someone closer. Sometimes when you stop contacting a woman, she will do the opposite. She will pull away completely. At first, this can sting. You expect curiosity, maybe even pursuit, but instead, she vanishes. No texts, no calls, no subtle attempts to check on you. It feels cold, almost shocking. But here's the reality: her pulling away is not always a loss. Often, it's a revelation. When a woman disconnects without hesitation, it usually means her investment was shallow. She may have enjoyed your presence, your energy, or the attention you gave, but she wasn't emotionally anchored to you. So when the supply is gone, she moves on quickly, because she was never truly rooted in what you shared. And as painful as that sounds, it is actually a blessing in disguise, because your silence flushed out the truth. You don't have to waste months or years chasing someone who was only halfway in. Her withdrawal gives you clarity she was not your match. Now, some men see this withdrawal and panic. They chase harder, call more, text more, trying to fix what feels broken. But this only proves her decision right. It shows desperation, not strength. The right response is to accept her silence with dignity. Let her go. If she can walk away so easily, then she was never meant to stay. Understand this: the woman who truly cares will not vanish without thought. She will feel the gap. She will wrestle with her emotions. She will at least reflect before deciding what to do. But the one who disappears instantly, that's your sign. That's your closure. So when she pulls away completely, don't view it as rejection. View it as redirection. Life just removed someone who couldn't value you and made space for someone who will. Her silence is not your loss. It is her answer. One of the most powerful things that happens when you stop contacting a woman is this: she begins to compare you to other men. When you were present in her life, constantly calling, texting, or showing up, you created a standard. whether you realized it or not. You set the tone for how a man should treat her, how consistency should feel, and how care should be expressed. But here's the interesting part. When that presence goes missing, her mind doesn't just sit still. It looks for replacements, for substitutes, and this is where the comparisons begin. She'll notice how other men text her, short, dry, or lazy. She'll notice how they make promises but don't follow through. She'll see how most men don't actually listen, don't actually care, and don't actually bring stability. And in those quiet moments, she will realize, he was different. Your silence creates contrast. Suddenly, she starts to measure what she lost against what she has now. And if you were truly a man of value, consistent, intentional, and genuine, those comparisons will not be in anyone else's favor. Now, this doesn't mean she'll always admit it to you. Some women will quietly regret, but pride will keep them from reaching out. Others will circle back, testing the waters to see if they can regain what they let slip away. And some will never say a word, but deep inside, they'll always carry the knowledge that you were rare. But here's the truth, brother. This comparison is not just about her. It's about you. Because when she compares, she's learning a lesson. She's realizing that good men are not easy to find, that your presence wasn't ordinary, that attention from the wrong man will never replace connection with the right one. And that's why your silence is so important. If you keep chasing, if you keep giving without pause, she never gets the chance to compare. She never feels the difference between you and the crowd. But when you step back, when you allow space, she's forced to measure. And in that measurement, your value shines. So never fear the comparison. If you've been authentic, if you've shown real strength and consistency, the comparison will only highlight what she lost and what she may never find again. At the end of it all, the greatest outcome of your silence is this: she will respect you more. Respect is the foundation of any real relationship. Without it, love fades, attraction weakens, and connection breaks. And here's the truth most men overlook. Women don't just respect what you give them. They respect the boundaries you set for yourself. When you stop contacting her, you send a silent but powerful message. I am not desperate. I am not chasing. I value myself enough to step back. And that message is what separates boys from men. You see most men crumble when faced with silence. They panic, they chase harder, they flood her phone with texts just to get attention. But when you resist that urge, when you stand tall in your patience, you communicate something rare: self-control. And women respect men who are in control of themselves. She begins to see you differently. No longer as someone who needs her validation to feel whole, but as a man who is whole on his own. That kind of man is magnetic. That kind of man is remembered. Respect doesn't always look like her running back with apologies. Sometimes it's subtle. It's in the way she speaks of you to her friends. It's in the way she replays memories of your presence. It's in the quiet acknowledgement that you were not like the others, that you moved with dignity, even in silence. And here's the powerful part: even if she never comes back, the respect remains. Because you taught her something. You showed her that your world doesn't revolve around her. You showed her that you have standards. And believe me, a woman may forget 1,000 conversations, but she will never forget the man who stood firm in his worth. So, brother, understand this silence is not weakness. It is strength. It is not punishment. It is self-respect. And whether she returns to you or not, the respect you earn in that silence is worth more than any temporary attention you could have begged for. Because in the end, respect is what keeps a woman's heart tied to a man long after feelings fade. And the man who commands respect commands everything.